Welcome to the Armani Talks podcast. I'm your host, Armani Talks. In this podcast, I'm helping you level up your 5 soft skills: public speaking, storytelling, social dynamics, emotional intelligence, and creativity. 5 soft skills for you to change your life forever, skyrocket your confidence along the way. In today's episode, we're entering the world of social skills and we're talking about debating. Debating in itself is not a bad act. Debating becomes a bad act when you do it without any form of science behind it. Roughly around the 11th grade, I had a friend who was starting a club called the Political Debate Club. And in the initial stages, not many people knew about it. And from the people that did know about it, they didn't want to attend. So this friend of mine, she was like, "Listen, Armani, if you come through, I'm going to give you some pizza. All right? So come through and bring a few of your friends as well." Eventually, I ended up going to this political debate club, and I noticed how she was gradually growing it each time that I was attending. At first, I wasn't participating. I was simply watching and seeing how different people would debate. There was this one guy, his name was either Daryl or Darren, a black guy, rapper, and had this swag to him, who was an amazing debater. And I would watch to see what he was doing. I noticed that he was amazing with his ideas. I also noticed that he had charm. And by charm, I mean that he was funny. I think his rap background helped him out a lot because he had this nice rhythm to him anytime he was debating where it made you pay attention. But I would say the most important thing in regards to Darren was his humor. He was capable of articulating his ideas in a way without creating another enemy in the process. And nowadays, contrast that with debates that you publicly see. Whenever I see a debate on a TV show or any sort of program, I see people going at it with each other. They're barking at the other person, putting the other person down, and making a lot of ego moves. And that's when I go back to my 11th grade self and I have to remind myself, yo, what was it that Darren did correctly? And here's a couple of insights that you can get away from debating. Number one, it's never personal. No matter how personal it seems, I believe the best narrative that we can make anytime we're debating someone else is, yo, it really isn't personal. Now, this may get tough when the other person is barking at you as though it is personal. They're over here calling you names, yelling at you, making a scowled face. How is it that we can maintain our composure then? I have a tip. Number one, be more curious. Because there's so many times when I thought I had my mind made up on a certain topic, and the more that I started to hear about it, the more I was like, wait, I don't know this topic as well as I initially thought. This other person, even though their delivery is poor, they're stating a lot of facts. You know what? Let me be more curious. And it's difficult to be curious and offended at the same time. You can only be one or the other. So I choose curiosity. And through the process of curiosity, it becomes much easier to be funny as well. Sort of like Darren was back in the days. I believe that he was genuinely curious about the ideas of the people that he was debating against, which allowed him to have this swag. He was open rather than closed off. Whenever we're fearful, what happens is that our body language becomes shriveled and it's not big, it's not strong, it's not amazing. But when we're curious, this leads to humor, and humor leads to charm. And this allows us to maintain our composure and hold our own in this debating grind. Throughout 11th grade, I learned that debating was a science. It's something that can be practiced and it can be improved over time. There may come a time in our lives when someone that we're close to or distant from needs to have their ideas challenged. Not in a disrespectful way, of course, but in a respectful way. And in those moments, curiosity will always beat sensitivity, and it's not even close. If you want more practical insights like this on how to communicate in an audacious manner without being a jerk, be sure to check out my book, Speakeasy: How to Be Articulate, Assertive, and Audacious Around People. This book is currently available on Amazon, Gumroad, and Audible. I'm going to drop all the links in the description box, or you can go on ArmaniTalks.com and grab your copy today. Thank you very much for joining the Armani Talks podcast, and we'll catch you next time.